Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a real classic, William Golding's Lord of the Flies from 1954. Quite a heavy hitter.
Definitely.
We've got a couple of sources here, a literary analysis, and a really interesting journal article that digs into Freudian psychoanalysis in the novel.
A common lens for this book.
So our mission today, for you listening, is kind of a psychological postmortem. We want to unpack how this story works as this chilling human nature laboratory.
Right. What happens when you strip away society?
Exactly. When the rules, the adults, the whole system just vanishes. What psychological forces actually, take over? We're tracing Golding's pretty dark view on humanity.
To really get that darkness, you have to look at Golding himself. He started out studying science, actually.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, which maybe explains that sort of methodical, almost experimental feel of the novel.
Yeah.
But the real turning point was World War II. He was in the Royal Navy, involved in D-Day, and seeing that level of, industrialized violence, it seemed to have completely shattered any sort of faith he had in inherent human goodness.
You can see how that would seep into the writing.
Absolutely. And the timing, 1954, that's key, too. It came out just 9 years after the war ended, really pushing back against that old idea that humanity was, progressing morally.
And right in the Cold War era, too.
Smack in the middle of it. The book even references that nuclear threat, which is presumably why the boys are on the island in the first place. It suggests savagery isn't some historical relic. It's always there, just beneath the surface.
Okay, so let's unpack the setup then. This island, it's gorgeous, right? A tropical paradise.
Textbook paradise.
It should be Eden. A clean slate for these British schoolboys, supposedly the pinnacle of civilization to build something good. Why start there? Why the idyllic setting?
Well, it's absolutely critical because it's all about literary subversion. Think about older adventure stories like Swiss Family Robinson or Robinson Crusoe.
Right, where the castaways bring order to the wilderness.
Exactly. They civilize nature. Golding completely flips that. The island stays beautiful, mostly. But the children descend into brutality. They corrupt themselves, not the environment.
So the island geography isn't just backdrop. It's almost like a map of their minds.
Precisely. The different locations reflect their collective state. You've got the beach. That's where they try to have meetings, build shelters, keep the fire going. It's like the zone of civilization.
Okay.
Then there's the jungle, deep dark, where the fear starts, where the hunting happens.
Yeah.
That's the eye breaking loose, really.
And Castle Rock.
Castle Rock becomes the fortress, the seat of Jack's power. It's pure tyranny by the end. And don't forget the scar.
Ah, right from the plane crash.
Yeah, the moment they arrive, mankind damages paradise. It's there from the start, this inherent destructiveness.
So if the island's the lab, then the core mechanism Golding's exploring is psychological. Our sources lean heavily on Freud here. Maybe just quickly remind us the id, ego, superego, what are they, especially when society's gone?
Yeah, good idea. It's a helpful framework. So Freud basically saw the psyche in three parts. You've got the purely unconscious, raw instinct, needs, desires, aggression, wanting immediate gratification.
The toddler part, kind of. I want it now.
Well, yeah, you could say that. Then there's the superego. That's your conscience, the internalized rules, morals, shoulds and shouldn'ts you learn from parents, teachers, society. It aims for perfection, morality.
Okay.
And caught in the middle is the ego. Its job is to be the referee, basically. It has to manage its impulses and the superego's demands while dealing with, actual reality.
So the book is asking, what happens when the superego's enforcers, the adults, disappear, and reality gets really hard?
Exactly. How long does the ego hold out before the id just takes over completely?
Okay, perfect setup. So applying this. Jack, how does Golding use him as the force that just rips things apart? What does he do that screams id?
Oh, Jack is the id. Everything he does is about primal satisfaction. Hunting, feasting, power, controlling the others. That moment he paints his face. That's huge.
Why the paint?
It's not just camouflage. It's symbolic. He's literally masking his old identity, shedding the chain, the rules, the superego. The analysis calls it liberating him from accountability, and boom, the aggression just flows. He doesn't care about being rescued. He cares about the hunt, the now.
Right, and then poor Piggy. He's the opposite, isn't he? Always talking about rules, the conch, what adults would think. He's the superego.
Absolutely. Piggy is the superego made manifest. He clings to the conch, wants names taken, insists on logic, worries about the fire for rescue. He represents reason, planning, morality.
But he's so vulnerable, they mock him constantly.
And that's the point, isn't it? He reminds them of the adult world, the rules they're escaping, his intelligence, his foresight. It's useless against raw impulse and physical power. He represents the fragility of reason when the aid runs wild.
Which leaves Ralph, the elected leader, strong, seems like a good kid. He's trying to be the ego, right? Balancing Piggy's logic and Jack's desires.
He starts out as the ego, yeah. He tries to keep the signal fire going, representing hope, rescue, the future, while also acknowledging the need for hunting and dealing with a growing fear.
But he fails. Why?
Well, the ego cracks under that kind of pressure. And one of the sources makes a really interesting point. The novel isn't just about the ego winning, it's also a critique of the ego itself.
How so?
Ralph has the leadership qualities, the charisma. But he also wants control. He sometimes dismisses Piggy's actual wisdom, and he can even get swept up in the excitement of the hunt himself. His ego isn't strong enough, or maybe it prioritizes its own sense of order over what's truly needed. When the id yells loudest, the ego sometimes takes the easier path.
And this breakdown, this psychological shift, it becomes physically real through objects on the island, doesn't it? What are the key symbols of civilization that get destroyed?
Oh, definitely. The most obvious one is the conch shell.
Right, the symbol of democracy. Whoever holds it gets to speak.
Exactly. It represents law, order, respectful dialogue. But you see its power fade long before it's actually smashed. People start interrupting. Jack openly mocks it. The superego's authority is eroding.
And when it finally shatters.
That moment, when Roger drops the boulder, killing Piggy and destroying the conch simultaneously, that's it. It's the complete death of reason, democracy, and order on the island. Game over for civilization.
And Piggy's glasses, they're crucial too.
Hugely symbolic. They represent science, intellect, technology, mankind's ability to understand and harness nature. They make fire. That's the key to survival and rescue.
So when Jack's tribe steals them.
It's chilling. It's literally brute force stealing intellectual power. Technology is taken from the thinker, Piggy, and used by the savages, Jack's hunters, purely for their immediate needs, roasting pigs, intimidation, not for the long-term goal of rescue. Brains utterly lose out to brawn and base desires.
You mentioned Roger dropping the boulder. He seems to represent something even darker.
Yeah, Roger is. He's Golding showing what happens when the restraints are completely gone. He embodies the idea that civilization is just a thin veil hiding something truly nasty.
How does he change? He starts off just throwing stones near a kid, right?
Exactly. He deliberately misses because he still feels that taboo of the old life, the conditioning of society. But that fades fast. He quickly becomes Jack's enforcer, the torturer, the executioner.
Enjoys it.
That's the terrifying part. His journey shows the slide from conditioned restraint into deliberate, calculated cruelty. He relishes the power to inflict pain. He's the one who sharpens a stick at both ends for Ralph. He represents pure, sadistic malice, unleashed when society isn't watching. He kills Piggy without hesitation.
This all ties into the fear driving them, doesn't it? The fear of the beast. They're terrified of something external.
Right, the external threat becomes the excuse, the focus for their internal savagery. But Golding makes it explicit. The beast isn't really external.
It's inside them.
Exactly. The central symbol for that is the Lord of the Flies itself, the pig's head on a stick, buzzing with flies. It's named after Beelzebub, basically the devil. And it tells Simon the truth.
That's that terrifying scene where it speaks to him.
Yeah. Fancy thinking the beast was something you could hunt and kill. I'm part of you. That's the core message. The evil, the savagery, it's inherent. It's in you.
Which brings us to Simon. He's different from the others.
Simon is crucial. He's almost his third way, not Jack's regression, not Ralph's failed attempt at order. He's intuitive, spiritual, maybe almost Christ-like in his compassion and insight.
He understands the beast is internal before anyone else.
He gets it. And he's the one who bravely goes to find out what the beast on the mountain actually is.
And discovers it's just a dead parachutist.
Yeah.
The adult world, ironically.
Right. The decay of the adult world is literally mistaken for a monster. So Simon runs back, desperate to tell the others the truth, to free them from their fear.
And they kill him.
They kill him. In that frenzied ritualistic dance, caught up in the storm and the chanting, they mistake him for the beast and tear him apart.
So they kill the truth teller.
Exactly. It's the ultimate symbol of humanity rejecting uncomfortable truths about itself. They'd rather believe in an external monster they can fight than face the darkness within. They kill the messenger, offering self-awareness.
Which leads to that ending. Total chaos, Ralph hunted like an animal, and then rescue. It feels so sudden, so ironic.
Devastatingly ironic. Ralph is literally seconds from death, the island is on fire, and suddenly there's a naval officer in crisp white uniform.
And what happens? How does his presence change things?
Instantly. The mere sight of adult authority makes the painted savages revert to being small, dirty boys. Ralph is instantly the leader again. Jack is just a kid with a painted face. The whole brutal system collapses on the spot.
It shows how fragile that savagery was, in a way. It needed the absence of rules.
Completely. It only existed in that vacuum. But the real kicker is the officer's reaction.
He's disappointed in them.
Yeah. He talks about fun and games like they failed at playing properly. I should have thought that a pack of British boys would have been able to put up a better show than that. He sees bad form, not total moral collapse. He just doesn't get it.
That naivety is the whole point, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's Golding's final indictment. Ralph gets it, though. He cries at the end, not just from relief, but for what does Golding write? The end of innocence, the darkness of man's heart, and the fall through the air of the true, wise friend called Piggy. He understands what they've become.
And the final image.
The officer turns away from these weeping, traumatized boys and looks at his warship offshore, his big gray killing machine.
Yeah. The adults' war.
Exactly. The macro chaos.
Right.
The organized, socially sanctioned violence of the adult world mirrors the boys' little war perfectly. The officer, representing that world, is bringing them salvation while participating in the very same savagery on a global scale. There's no escape.
Wow. Okay, so boiling it down for you listening, our deep dive really shows Lord of the Flies as Golding's stark argument. Civilization is fragile. It's just this thin layer of rules we agree on underneath.
Oh, well, the potential for savagery isn't some external monster. It's part of us.
And maybe that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Golding's view was forged in the fires of World War II. He saw humanity at its absolute worst and concluded this inherent darkness was the truth. So thinking about today, what current global events, what anxieties, what social fractures might be fueling the next fictional human nature laboratory, where do you see our own civilizing structures looking a bit frayed?